It is not Bake Off Friday, but what the hey, let's make something for week 10. It's finally the final, y'all. Once again, I must apologize for the delay. I don't really have an excuse this week other than life things got in the way, and I wanted to make something kind of special for the last week, specifically Pastéis de nata. When I was 12 years old, my family had the privilege of living in Portugal for a year, and ever since the country has held a special place in our hearts. As such, I have been wanting to learn how to make pastéis de nata for years, so I thought I might give it a go this week. So naturally, I invested in some pastéis de nata tins straight from Portugal. They even came with this really cute postcard. The tins do need to be cured before use, which is just an hour and a half or so in a really hot oven. As you can see, their time in the oven left them hardened and dark and weathered. Like Batman. Pastéis de natas, or Portuguese egg tarts, I guess I could say, have a reputation for being notoriously finicky and difficult among bakers. If I'm remembering correctly, it was a technical challenge one year on Bake Off. It's a pretty simple idea in theory, just custard and crust, but as with all simple things, the details matter. One must respect the process, and one must also be diligent about brushing the flour away. Once I wound up with croissants that had all the texture of a biscuit because I did not bother brushing the flour away. Most pastry doughs are rather finicky, and I don't think I would have attempted this under any other circumstances. That's one thing I've really appreciated about this series, all the new stuff I got to try this year. The pecan pie I made all the way back in week 1. I've already made twice more, once for Thanksgiving. And I'm using that pesky boiled cider for an apple pie recipe from, let's say it all together, King Arthur flour. By the way, I'm using this recipe for pastéis de nata from David Leta. I should have mentioned that earlier. But what I most appreciate are all the lovely folks who have been kind enough to give me a follow. It just goes to show that delicious baked goods really do bring folks together. Some of y'all might be asking, hey Bree, now that Bake Off is over for this year, what are you gonna do now? Well, for the month of December, I am going to take a break from the weekly cooking shorts to focus on a long-form video that has been looming over my head for almost a year now. If you follow the Waking Snow White project, you might have an idea of what that is. If you don't follow the Waking Snow White project, but kind of want to get in on that, please give me a follow here, there, everywhere, if you please. Now, for those not wanting to get in on the Waking Snow White project and are just here for the weekly kitchen vibes, I don't blame you, and I have an answer for you too. A brand new weekly cooking and baking series starting sometime after the new year, likely the first week of January, so stay tuned for that. But enough of the shameless plugging. We cook. Custard, that is. We cook some custard. I've made a lot of custard in my time, and I have to admit that I've never made one quite like this. You'll notice that it's thickened with a flour, and it's sweetened with a hot sugar syrup. I believe the flour is intended to set the custard at the relatively high temperature of the oven, while the sugar syrup is meant